Imagine you're the parent of a son or daughter. They just recently turned 13 and summer is beginning. They will be beginning their freshman year of high school after summer. Now imagine one day you close a tab on your computer by accident. You go to your browser history to recover the tab, only to discover several closed pornography tabs, the earliest dating a month back. After asking your child, they admit they had discovered porn on your computer and have been watching it since. How would you feel if you had to experience this? How would you feel knowing that the only thing stopping your child from accessing these websites in the first place was a prompt that many adult websites ask when attempting to access them? Are you 18 years of age or older? The only thing you had to do to prove you were 18 was click the yes button. Because of the lack of any real way to prevent anyone from under 18 from accessing these pornography websites, many children throughout the US have been finding their way onto adult content websites. Pornography can be found all over the internet today. According to an article written in 2024 by the California Learning Resource Network team, about 31% of all internet traffic is dedicated to adult content, with porn websites receiving about 24 million visits a day. And according to a website article written by Brenna Harper, who is from a group called Maze of Love, around 1 in every 5 smartphone searches are related to porn. The website also states that around 1 million people are watching pornography every minute. Normalization of pornography has made people ignore the fact that this explicit adult content is being seen by minors who are not adults, often during the important sexual development period of their life in which they are very vulnerable and impressionable. To address this issue, I have spent the last couple weeks engaged in extensive research on pornography, its negative and harmful effects, and how it explicitly affects minors. In this video presentation, I will talk about the problem I wish to address, my solution to this problem, what I believe will come from my solution, and action we can take to push for my solution to be implemented. The problem I wish to discuss is that significantly large numbers of children in the United States are being exposed to pornography. Common Sense Media, a group devoted to helping parents protect their children from harmful content on the internet, conducted a study with children between the ages of 13 and 17. They found that, quote, while the vast majority of respondents said that they have seen pornography, just under half of all teens indicated that they had done so intentionally, while slightly more than half indicated that they had encountered pornography accidentally. And a research article written by Paul J. Wright et al. Finds that in a national survey representative of adolescents, almost 70% of adolescents reported being exposed to pornography. The reason why there is a problem is that there are dangers that many children watching pornography are at risk of. First, it will harm their perceptions of what is okay to do with someone during sex because it exposes them to depraved and violent sexual acts. A study conducted in 2023 by the UK Children's Commissioner found that 79% of children have encountered violent pornography before the age of 18. The same study found that more frequent users of porn watching this kind of violent content are more likely to engage in physically aggressive sexual acts. And another journal article from Paul J. Wright et al., written in 2022, finds that pornography has many recurring messages in many popular films, such as that rough sex, which includes abusive acts towards a partner, are common and normal. Another danger posed to minors is that they are often tempted to use pornography as a way of dealing with existing depression, one that ultimately makes their depression worse. An article from Very Well Mind, written by Candice McDowell last year, talks about how pornography is very addictive and is often used to suppress feelings of depression. However, since its effect weakens, it causes people to consume more and more pornography, and in turn makes their depression much worse, making them fall into a cycle of consuming porn and feeling more depressed every time. Another research article written by Hasib Mahmood Qadri et al. Finds that too much pornography often leads to anxiety, stress, and depression. The first stakeholder in this is adolescent minors who risk being exposed to the long-term risks associated with long-term porn use. This stakeholder has been underrepresented and often ignored when discussing pornography. I believe that they should be advocated for because they're the future of our country, who deserve to be defended. The second stakeholder are those who are close to them, such as their parents, guardians, or significant others, who will be forced to witness them harm their sexual development and perspectives with porn consumption. Now that I have addressed the problem of pornography use by minors, I'll move on to discuss my solution to this problem. I strongly believe that pornography should be made inaccessible in the United States to children and teens under 18 for their health, safety, and future. This will be done by making it legally required in all 50 states to have ID verification required to access an adult website. According to an article from Axios.com, quote, 19 United States have passed laws requiring adult website visitors to verify their age as of January. Another article from the Reason.com reports similar coverage of these law implementations. State lawmakers have already begun taking action in protecting their children from pornography. My intent is that all 50 states do the same, whether they decide to do so on their own or through the requirement of a federal mandate. Reasons to adopt this solution are for the sexual well-being, development, and protection of minors in the United States. Although many advocate against restrictions to pornography websites because it infringes on people's privacy, I argue that in the same way alcohol requires an ID to purchase, pornography should have an ID presented to use because it is too dangerous for minors to use. Now that I have explained my solution, I want to talk about what it will look like if my solution is implemented. The positives of this solution being implemented are that minors will be kept safe from the harmful effects of pornography. They will sexually develop without being influenced by degrading and aggressive sexual acts, and they will avoid becoming dependent on it during their developmental years and the rest of their life. However, if my solution is not implemented, minors will not receive these benefits. They will continue to be exposed to worse and worse forms of porn, which will corrupt their mind and muddle their perspectives of what is sexually acceptable and what is accepted as assault. Now that I have discussed the visualization of my solution, I want to conclude by talking about how you can help support this safety measure for minors. The action we can take to push for this solution is to appeal to Congress to pass a federal mandate to require ID verification. Although this sounds like an impossible task for ordinary citizens like you and me, Congress members are individual people, just like us, who are influenced by genuine concern and emotions. Rather than thousands of social media comments from who knows where, Congressmen and women have been known to be influenced by direct phone calls and personal letters from American citizens stressing their concerns about certain issues. We can do the same with our Indiana congressman currently in office by demanding that our concerns for American minors' safety be heard. In conclusion, I have spoken in great detail about the major threat posed by pornography to the young men and women who will one day be running our country. I hope that my words have convinced you of the dangers that unrestricted pornography have on our children and that action must be taken to defend their innocence. We have the power to change things for the better for our children. We must simply be willing to fight for them by keeping pornography away from them until they're old enough to decide for themselves to use it. Thank you.